Alright guys, this is a quick video to talk about what we're taking notes over today. So Miss Cody should have passed out a note sheet to you. On one side is a place to take notes, and on the back is the part of our assignment, which I'll be getting to in a second. First off, we need to take notes. So what we're doing today is actually pretty simple. It's the way that we format all of our papers here in class. And so we have to make sure that when everyone's submitting a paper, it needs to look relatively the same. That way, I'm not grading a paper based on the way it looks, but I'm grading the paper based on the content, your writing, and your ideas. So the way we do that is through MLA formatting. It stands for Modern Language Association. You can see that at the top of your notes sheet. So the Modern Language Association is just one of many different, organizations or styles that different parts of academia write in. So for instance, MLA, Modern Language Association, is more often used by the humanities, so English and sometimes social studies, philosophy, etc. But APA, the American Psychological Association, they have a different version of doing things. APA is used a lot in more of the sciencey kind of stuff. There's also Chicago that you might have heard of. And there's a few more on that list that don't really matter. This part really isn't on your note sheet. It's just to make you aware of that there's a lot of different academic styles out there, but the one that we use is MLA. When you go on to college or later on in high school, when you're writing papers for other teachers, they might have you do one of these other styles, but in this class we're going to follow MLA, the Modern Language Association. So, what is in MLA style? So the first part is paper formatting. Paper formatting is 1/3 of what's in MLA style. So paper formatting includes the header of the paper and the title, and also how we format our quotes, our punctuation, etc. So we've already actually gone over quotation format the past couple of days in class. But today we're going to go over that paper header and title and other technicalities. Another part of MLA style is, went too far, is citing sources. So we've already done in-text citations and how to format quotes and stuff like that. One thing we're going to be getting to later is this last bullet point, works cited in bibliography. So there is a spot on your note sheet to write this part down. So if you haven't been doing so as I've been talking, make sure to pause the video and write these couple of bullet points down so you know exactly what MLA style includes. Today we're going to be focusing on the header and title, and also just the technicalities of visually what does our paper look like. So here's an example. It's kind of hard to see because this button is in the way, but this says the header, just for you to know. So this is an imaginary essay, the imaginary first page of an essay. So things to note. So the header, this should be a section on your note sheet. The header is about 4 lines. In this class, it's going to be 4 lines. And each line has a designated, something designated that needs to be on that particular line. So the first line, as you can see over in this example, is your name. The student name needs to go there. The second line is the title of, I do this a little differently actually. So yes, write down student name. The second thing I actually do is I have the teacher's name. So right here it has the class name, but the second line I do is teacher's name. So make sure on your notes your first bullet point is student name, second bullet point is teacher's name. The third line is actually spent with the name of the class. So we would write writing 10 on our third line. And the fourth line of our header is the date that it is due. I like to put the date that it's due just to remind yourself as you're setting up your paper, if you have the due date input into your header, it kind of is a nice reminder as you're going and working on your paper of when your paper is due. So that is a little different than what we have over here. So make sure on your bullet points you have student name, teacher name, name of class, and finally date. So then that takes care of the header, which we put on the very left side of the page, as far left as we can get it. Next we go to the title. So our title, oddly enough, has to look a specific way too. There's nothing special about the title. We don't do any underlining, any kind of bold stuff or italics. The title is just regular font. So first note over the title section of your notes is to make sure your title is centered in the exact center. Sometimes it won't be 2 lines like this. It'll probably be just 1 long line. I'm not sure why this person chose 2 lines, but they did. So make sure the title is centered. And it needs to be the same font and the same size as everything else on your paper. So make sure you're not using a larger font for your title. I know in the past, another teacher, or you might be in the habit of making your title larger to make it stand out. But the standard in MLA is just to keep your title the same exact font and same size. And like I said earlier, no bolding or no underlining. So make sure you get all this information down on your note sheet. And one more thing I want to point out, and this isn't on your note sheet, but I do want to point it out, is that there is no space. There's no extra space between the title and where we begin our paragraph, our first paragraph of our paper. We just do a single space in between it. All right, moving forward. Other things to notice, there's a section on your notes for this. Everything is double spaced, so line spacing is very important. I can show you on a document here in a second where line spacing is located if you don't know already. Make sure there's no extra spaces or gaps between words. Oftentimes, some teachers will have you, actually some professors I've even have had you put 2 spaces after the end of each sentence to space everything out a little bit. Please don't do that. Just put one space after a period or at the end of the sentence, and we don't need any extra spaces between paragraphs. Make sure the fonts are boring. So we're looking for Times New Roman or Calibri, whatever that one's called. Nothing exciting like Comic Sans. Play it safe and go with Times New Roman. And the font size as well needs to be 12-point font. So this isn't specifically on the slide here, so you're going to want to make sure you write this part down, is that it's Times New Roman and 12-point font. Cool. So I wanted to show you a few of these features on Google Docs specifically because for your assignment today, you're going to be creating a Google Doc and putting this formatting into action. I'll go through the instructions in just a second, but couple things I want to show you, Font is located here. When we use Times New Roman, even if you use Roboto or Arial, that's okay, but nothing fancy. I would just say Times New Roman. Make sure you're in 12-point font as well. I might as well go ahead and do this while we're at it. And then line spacing. On Google Docs, line spacing is located right here. It is 3 lines with an up and down arrow to the left of those lines. And it's standardly set towards either single or 1.15. We want double for ours. And so you can even have the header in double space if you like. So remember our header goes student name, teacher name, so you would insert my name, and then our class, and then the due date. We'll just say Friday, 1/18/19. You can also do the date in a different format if you like. You can say January or like 1 January 2019 if you want to get really fancy. It's not that big of a deal. Then we just do 1 space and then we create some kind of creative title. 1 more space, make our cursor go to the left, and we can start typing our paper. So notice I didn't do anything extra between these. I just pushed the enter button once for each of these. So let's flip over to the assignment and go through that really quick. So you should have a printout of this sheet right now. This is what we took notes over. Make sure you got an example from the PowerPoint, a correct example. You can actually just take the example I did a couple of seconds ago on that document. And then if you go to the back of your page, this is where your assignment is. So the first thing, I just created a step-by-step list for you. First thing you're going to do is create a new Google Doc. You can also do this in Word if you prefer Word. It doesn't really matter that much. Create a new document. The next thing you're going to do is set up the document in MLA style. So make sure you have your proper header with all of the required parts up in the upper left-hand corner. Make sure you come up with some kind of title. You can name it anything creative that you want, or just the word title if you want. I just need to know that you know what the spacing looks like and the formatting for the title looks like. Then make sure you have the correct font and font size. Make sure you have the correct spacing, so we're going to double spacing. And then your setup should be complete after you have your header and your title. Now, for number 3, once your formatting is set up, there is a link on Schoology I'm about to show you right here under our agenda for the day, Thursday. The link is right here. It says, here's the link to the article where you'll be taking quotes from. You'll click there. Let me go back to our assignment here. So there's the link. What you're going to do is just a link to an ABC News article or something like that. It doesn't really matter what the article is about, but we're going to once again practice taking 3 quotes from the article and make sure you properly quote them. So give each quote a different introduction and the correct in-text citation. Also make sure the punctuation is correct. We all know about our punctuation. So you're going to take 3 random quotes. The formatting doesn't need to really be specific as far as like spacing. It doesn't need to be in paragraph form or anything like that. That's totally fine if you just have 3 quotes like in a row with this like a space in between each one. That's okay as long as the introduction, the in-text citation, and the punctuation is correct. Next, take any paragraph of your choosing of any length, and I want you to paraphrase it. And don't forget your in-text citation for that. Please take a paragraph. I'm not looking for you to paraphrase a sentence or 2. We're looking for a paragraph. So that's about 4 sentences. So it's going to be a lengthy paraphrase. And don't forget your in-text citation. Finally, number 4, once it's completed, turn in the Schoology assignment, MLA Formatting Practice. That is located on our main page. Let me go back to it. MLA Formatting Practice. You should be able to find it here or over on the side. And you can turn that puppy in. A reminder, our paraphrasing and quoting packet is due tomorrow. You had a little bit of class in time on Wednesday to complete it. If you didn't get it done, take some time to complete it. Finally, our first vocab packet is due on Tuesday. We don't have class on Monday. So you're going to want to make sure that you take your time in class right now after you complete this assignment to complete your packet. Remember, our first vocab quiz is that day as well. So I will stop rambling and let you get to work. Please email me if you have any questions. I will be at my computer throughout the meeting that I'm at today. So feel free to email me a question. I should be able to get back to you within a couple of minutes or so. And it's okay to ask someone next to you a question as long as you don't, get off topic and start talking about cheese or something. All right, so get to work.